All right, so welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're going to get into product marketing strategies.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be cool. We're going to look at how companies figure out
Okay.
how to, well, you know, make products that people actually want to buy. I mean,
Yes.
it's kind of the whole point, right?
Right.
So we're diving into some excerpts from classic marketing textbooks,
Okay.
sort of like a crash course MBA
Yeah.
without the expensive tuition. So have you ever
Kidding.
wondered why there are like a zillion different types of laundry detergent?
Yeah. Actually, I have.
Right. Or like how did Lexus become like synonymous with luxury?
Yeah.
We're gonna unpack all that and more.
Awesome. And what's really cool is that we're not just talking about theory here.
Right.
We're talking about the actual strategies that companies use every single day
Oh, sure.
to,
In the real world,
yeah, to try and, well, basically win you over as a customer. So we'll be looking at some of the hits, like how Subaru uses optional features to target different types of buyers.
right?
And we'll also look at some misses, like when Tesco tried to launch their fresh and easy stores in the US, didn't quite
Let's
work
get
out
into
as they planned.
So okay, so the source material kind of starts out with this whole concept of product classification.
Okay.
It sounds kind of technical, but it really just gets at like how even like really simple products
Mm,
can be seen as totally different in the eyes of customers.
makes sense.
They use this great example:
Yeah.
chicken, aspirin, and steel.
Oh,
I mean, think about it, like chicken is chicken, right?
right.
But Purdue has like built a whole brand around the idea that their chickens are somehow better, and people are willing to pay more for it. It's like that perception of quality.
It's all about the
Yeah, exactly. And it's the same with Bayer aspirin, right? Aspirin's aspirin, but Bayer has that reputation for trust.
right reliability.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
And then you've got like Tata Steel. They've positioned themselves as a leader in sustainability, which resonates with you know a lot of consumers these
Well,
days.
a lot of people care about that.
For sure. So it's not just about the product itself,
Well,
it's about the whole story.
the image.
Exactly. The image, the story the company tells.
Exactly. And that leads us right into the power of product design.
Uh,
And this isn't just about making things look pretty, right?
Right.
It's about understanding what customers need
Right.
and creating products that actually solve their problems.
Okay.
So a good example of that is the Subaru Outback. They've basically created this whole system of, optional features, trim levels, so you can kind of get the Outback that fits your needs and your budget.
Mhm.
You know, you want a basic model, they got that.
Yeah.
You want, the heated seats and the moonroof and all that.
Yeah, the bells and whistles.
Boom, they got that too.
So they've created a car for like pretty much every need.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's why it's so popular with such a wide range of people.
Makes sense.
Hmm.
But this kind of approach, with all these different features and options,
Right.
that also kind of highlights this tension that a lot of companies face, especially those that operate in lots of different countries.
Yeah.
The tension between standardization and adaptation.
Uh-huh.
So what do you mean by that?
So you can't always create like a single product
Right.
that's going to work perfectly for everyone everywhere. Sometimes you got to adapt, to fit local tastes, local preferences, maybe even local regulations.
Okay.
So think about McDonald's, right?
Yeah.
They have their core menu, but then they also have those regional specialties.
Right.
They adapt it for different countries.
Right.
And then you have cases like Tesco, where they tried to bring their British grocery store model to the U.S. with fresh and easy, and it was a flop. It turns out American shoppers just weren't looking for that kind of smaller neighborhood market experience. They wanted the big, the giant.
Yeah, the huge selection, the bulk buys.
Exactly, yeah. They wanted the traditional supermarkets.
So even companies that are like really successful globally,
Yeah.
they still need to pay attention to those local nuances.
Absolutely, yeah. You got to adapt.
Okay, now let's move on to something a little more glamorous. Luxury brands. The source material highlights Lexus and how they managed to build this brand that's just synonymous with like exceptional customer experience.
Ah, Lexus. Yeah.
And how do they do that?
Well, Lexus realized that luxury isn't just about the the car itself, right?
Right.
It's about the entire ownership experience. So they invested a lot in creating this dealer network that felt more like a high-end hotel than a car lot,
Yeah.
you know?
Really?
Yeah. So you walk in, you get this personalized attention.
Wow.
Maybe there's luxurious waiting areas. They might even offer you like complimentary services. It's all about elevating that whole dealership visit
Interesting.
from like a chore
Yeah, like a hassle.
to a really pampering ritual.
Yeah, so they took all the stress out of car buying, which is a pretty big selling point.
For sure. Yeah.
But Lexus, I mean, they've had to kind of to evolve over the years, right? I mean, now they're targeting younger buyers with sleeker designs, like edgier marketing campaigns,
Right.
trying to stay relevant.
Well, that's the thing about managing a luxury brand, right? It's this constant balancing act. You have to maintain that air of exclusivity and prestige while also appealing to new generations of consumers. So Lexus is a really good example of how a brand can kind of evolve while staying true to its core values.
Okay, now let's talk about a topic that's become increasingly important in recent years, sustainability.
Right.
It's not just like a niche concern anymore.
Ugh.
It's something that consumers are actively seeking out in the products that they buy. It's become mainstream.
It has, yeah. Sustainability is not just about doing good anymore. It's
Right.
it's like a core business imperative these days. So you've got companies like Patagonia.
Okay.
They've really woven sustainability into their DNA. They advocate for environmental protection. They use recycled materials. They actually encourage their customers to repair their gear instead of buying new stuff.
Right.
And they even donate a percentage of their sales to environmental causes.
So Patagonia has built this loyal following.
Yeah,
Not just because of their products, but because they stand for something bigger.
absolutely. Yeah. And it's interesting to see how sustainability can be both a constraint and an opportunity.
What do you mean by that?
Well, on the one hand, companies have to find ways to reduce their environmental impact,
Right.
which can require some pretty significant changes.
Yeah, like overhauling their operations, supply chains, that kind of thing.
Exactly. But it can also drive incredible innovation.
Oh, okay.
We're seeing companies develop new materials, new processes, new products that are better for the planet.
So it's a win-win, for both the environment and the bottom line.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, now let's move on to another key concept, product mix.
Okay.
The source material uses Procter & Gamble as an example to kind of illustrate how companies decide what products to offer and how to manage those offerings, strategically.
Right. P&G, they're like the ultimate product portfolio manager. They have a massive product mix across like all these different categories,
Yeah.
from beauty and grooming to healthcare and home care.
It got everything.
They really do, yeah. And they use a strategy called product line depth.
Okay.
So they'll offer different brands at different price points to appeal to a wider range of customers.
So it's like they've got a product for every need in every budget.
Pretty much, yeah. So in laundry detergent alone, they have Tide at the high end, Cheer in the middle,
Okay.
and then Gain at the lower end. And each of those brands has its own distinct identity.
Right, and its own target market.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this strategy allows them to capture a larger market share and
Yeah.
really maximize their profitability.
Okay, that makes sense. But managing a product mix,
Yeah.
I mean, that's like an ongoing process, right?
It is, yeah. It's a constantly evolving thing. Companies have to analyze market trends.
Right.
They have to assess the performance of their products, make tough decisions about.
So which products to invest in?
Yeah,
Which ones to phase out?
right. Maybe when to introduce new ones.
Right. So
Okay.
it's like a giant puzzle
Uh-huh.
where you're constantly trying to find the right pieces to create this complete picture.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Okay, now let's talk about the elements that make a product instantly recognizable,
Okay.
appealing.
Yeah.
The packaging, the labeling, the warranties.
Right. So these elements play a really critical role in shaping consumer perceptions
Right.
and influencing, whether they buy or not.
Okay.
So think about the the iconic Coca-Cola bottle
Right.
or the sleek Red Bull. I mean, the
Yeah.
packaging is instantly recognizable,
Mm.
and it tells you a lot about the brand.
Uh-huh.
And then you have labels. Labels are all about providing key information in a
Mhm.
clear, concise way, from ingredients and nutritional facts to safety warnings and instructions.
So it's not just about conveying information, it's also about building trust
Exactly.
and adding value.
Yeah, we're seeing companies use ingredient branding,
Okay?
like Intel Inside,
Right.
to highlight those key components and kind of reassure customers about quality. And then, of course, you have warranties.
Right.
Warranties play a really critical role in reducing risk for the buyer, especially for big ticket items.
Okay, yeah. A well-crafted warranty can be a powerful differentiator.
For sure.
It shows that the company stands behind their product
Uh-huh.
and gives consumers that extra peace of mind.
Exactly. Yeah. It's all about building confidence
Right.
and creating that positive association with the brand.
Right.
So far we've been talking about tangible products,
Yeah.
things you could hold in your hand.
Uh-huh.
But what about services?
Okay.
I mean, they're everywhere these days.
Right. Yeah.
From that latte you get in the morning to the streaming service you use to binge your favorite shows.
Right.
The challenge with services, though, is that you can't actually experience them before you buy them.
Right. It's like taking a leap of faith, hoping it lives up to expectations.
Exactly. So how do companies overcome that inherent uncertainty?
Yeah. How do they do that?
Well, building trust is absolutely paramount in service marketing.
Yeah.
You have to give customers tangible reasons to believe in your service, even though it's intangible. Think about clear communication, testimonials from satisfied customers. Maybe even showcase your behind-the-scenes processes to demonstrate your commitment to quality.
Okay. So the source material mentions this continuum of evaluation,
Uh-huh.
suggesting that some services are just easier to evaluate than others.
Right.
Like choosing a restaurant seems a lot simpler than choosing a financial advisor.
It is, yeah. With a restaurant, you have cues, right? You have
Yeah.
reviews, you have menus.
The ambiance.
Yeah, the ambiance. You can kind of get a sense of what to expect.
Right.
But with services like healthcare or financial planning,
Uh-huh.
it's much harder to assess quality beforehand.
Right.
So that's where building a strong reputation, establishing expertise becomes really crucial.
So what about when things go wrong? We all have those customer service horror stories.
Yeah.
How do companies recover from those missteps?
Well, the source material calls this service recovery,
Right.
and it's becoming more and more critical these days.
Why is that?
Well, because in today's, hyper-connected world, a negative review can go viral in an instant. So companies need to be proactive about responding to complaints, addressing customer concerns,
Right.
and having a clear system for resolving issues, quickly and fairly.
So it's about taking a negative experience and turning it into a positive one,
Yeah.
or at least mitigating the damage.
Exactly. You want to try to turn that frown upside down.
Right. Do they highlight any companies who are particularly good at this?
They do, yeah. So airlines often get a bad rap for customer service.
Right.
But JetBlue and Southwest consistently rank high in customer satisfaction.
Interesting.
They've both built this reputation for going above and beyond to take care of their passengers, even when things go wrong.
It seems like investing in employee training and empowering them to make decisions
Yes.
on the spot plays a big part in that.
Absolutely. The source material emphasizes the importance of internal marketing, which means, treating your employees well so they in turn treat your customers well.
It makes sense.
Mm.
Happy, engaged employees are much more likely to provide excellent service.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've talked about services,
Uh-huh.
but now let's talk about something even more intangible.
Okay.
Innovation. How do companies come up with those game-changing products that just capture our imagination? So they come out of nowhere.
It seems that way sometimes. Well, there's no magic formula.
Right.
But the source material does highlight several key strategies that can increase the odds of innovation success.
Okay.
And it all starts with a deep understanding of customer needs.
Right.
You have to identify those unmet needs, the pain points that your product or service can address.
So don't just build something and hope people want it.
Right, exactly.
Do your research, make sure there's a real demand for your product.
Absolutely. And it's not enough to just ask customers what they want.
Yeah.
Sometimes they don't even know until you show them.
Interesting.
That's where techniques like observational research come in, watching how people interact with products and services in their natural environment to uncover those hidden needs and opportunities.
I'm curious about those scouting time initiatives
Yeah.
that some companies have implemented, where employees are given like dedicated time to work on their own pet projects.
Right.
Does those ever actually lead to real products, or is it mostly about just boosting morale?
You'd be surprised how many successful products have actually come from those skunkworks projects.
Really?
Yeah. 3M's Post-it notes. That's a classic example. This employee was working on a new adhesive formula in his
Hmm.
spare time,
Hmm.
and he stumbled upon this unique application that nobody had thought of before.
Interesting.
So the key is to create a culture where employees feel empowered to experiment, to take risks, and to challenge the status quo.
So innovation often comes from unexpected places.
It does,
So
yeah.
fostering that culture that encourages creative thinking,
It's essential.
that's essential. Okay. The source material also talks about brand positioning
Right.
when it comes to new product development.
Yeah, brand positioning's crucial, especially in crowded marketplaces, right?
Yeah.
It's about understanding where your product fits in the minds of consumers relative to existing brands,
Yeah.
and how you can differentiate yourself. So they use this example of a company launching a new instant breakfast drink, and they used a brand positioning map
Okay.
to see how their products stacked up against competitors
Interesting.
in terms of factors like taste, convenience, nutritional value, price, you
So
know.
you're strategically choosing where to position your product in the market based
Exactly.
on what you believe will resonate most with your target customers.
Absolutely.
Okay. And it's important to consider all aspects of the product experience, from the core features and benefits to
Yeah.
the packaging, the pricing, the marketing messages.
It all ties together.
Okay. Speaking of messaging, let's talk about launching a new product.
Yeah.
The source material emphasizes the importance of having a solid go-to-market strategy.
Right, right. A well-defined go-to-market plan is critical, and it starts with identifying your target audience.
Okay.
Who are you trying to reach with this product? What
Right.
are their needs, their motivations, their media consumption habits? Once you understand your target audience, then you can tailor your marketing messages
Yeah.
and choose the most effective channels to reach them.
So even if you have an amazing product,
Yeah.
you still need a plan to get it in front of the right people.
You do, absolutely.
What are some common mistakes that companies make when launching new products?
Well, one common mistake is launching too many products at once.
Okay.
It can spread your resources too thin,
Right.
and make it difficult to gain traction with any of them.
So you're not focusing enough on any one product?
Mhm. Exactly. Another mistake is failing to adequately test the product with real customers before launch.
Okay.
Getting feedback early and often can help you identify potential issues
Right.
and make adjustments before it's too late.
It's better to focus on launching a few high-quality products
Yeah.
and making sure they succeed
Right.
rather than overwhelming the market with too many options.
I agree. Yeah. And it's important to remember that not all new products will be successful.
Right.
Failure is often part of the innovation process. The
Mhm.
key is to learn from those failures,
Okay.
adapt your approach, and keep iterating.
So it's about embracing those failures as learning opportunities
Yeah.
and using those lessons to fuel future success.
Exactly.
Okay. Now let's shift gears and talk about something that has dramatically changed the landscape of product marketing,
Okay.
the digital revolution.
Yes, it's not just a shift, it's like a seismic upheaval.
Wow.
The digital world has completely transformed the way companies interact with customers,
Mhm.
develop products, market their offerings. One of the most significant impacts has been the rise of demassification.
And demassification, what does that mean?
So demassification means that companies can now target very specific groups of consumers with highly personalized messages and offers.
Oh, okay.
It's a far cry from the days of mass marketing where
Yeah.
you just blast out the same message to everyone and hope for the best.
So it's about moving away from the shotgun approach
Yeah.
and toward a more targeted, like, rifle approach.
Exactly, yeah. And it's all thanks to the abundance of data
Right.
that companies now have access to. They can track customer behavior online.
Okay.
They can analyze their preferences
Yeah.
and tailor their marketing efforts accordingly.
So it's about delivering the right message to the right person at the right time,
Yes.
increasing the effectiveness of their campaigns.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like a marketer's dream.
It sounds like it.
Yeah.
But it also kind of raises some concerns about privacy
It does.
and data security.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Companies have to be very careful about how they collect and use customer data.
Right.
Transparency is key.
Okay.
They need to be upfront about their data practices and give customers control over their information.
Yeah.
It's about building trust, not exploiting data for profit.
Okay, so how are companies using digital channels to connect with customers and build relationships?
Well, there are countless ways.
Right.
One popular strategy is creating online communities and forums where customers can share their experiences, ask questions, provide feedback.
Right.
It's about building a sense of community around your brand
Okay.
and fostering a sense of belonging among your customers.
So it makes customers feel like they're part of something bigger
Exactly.
than just a transaction.
Right.
Okay. And of course we can't talk about digital marketing without mentioning social media.
Social media is huge.
It's become like a vital channel for companies to connect with customers,
Absolutely.
to build brand awareness,
Mhm.
and even drive sales.
It can do it all.
It seems like every brand has a presence on Facebook, on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok.
Yeah, the list goes on and on.
Right. But it's not just about blasting out promotional messages, is it?
No. Social media is all about creating engaging content,
Right.
fostering conversations, building authentic relationships. It's a two-way street.
Good.
Companies need to listen to what their customers are saying, respond to their needs,
Right.
and even involve them in the product development process.
So it's about creating a dialogue, not just a monologue.
Exactly.
Okay. And it's about being where your customers are.
Right.
If they're spending their time on social media, that's where you need to be too.
Exactly.
But social media is just one piece of the digital puzzle.
Yeah.
We also have to talk about mobile.
Oh, yes. Oh.
Everyone's glued to their phones these days.
Yeah.
So what are some of the ways companies are using mobile to reach consumers?
Well, mobile marketing is incredibly powerful because it allows companies to reach consumers anytime, anywhere.
Right.
We're seeing companies use targeted text messages.
Uh-huh.
They're creating mobile apps that provide value and enhance the customer experience.
Yeah.
And they're even leveraging location-based services to deliver personalized offers and promotions.
So if I'm walking by my favorite coffee shop
Yeah.
and suddenly I get a coupon for a free latte, that's mobile marketing in action.
That's it. Yeah.
Okay.
It's all about delivering the right message to the right person at the right time. And mobile's also a great channel for building customer loyalty. So companies can use mobile apps to reward repeat customers, to provide exclusive content, and even offer personalized recommendations based on past purchases.
It's like having a VIP club in your pocket.
Exactly.
Okay, so the key is to create a seamless and engaging experience for the customer, no matter where they are,
Yeah.
or what device they're using.
Absolutely.
All right, so we've covered a lot of ground,
We have.
from understanding customer needs to navigating this ever evolving digital landscape.
It's a lot to take in.
But there's one crucial piece of the puzzle we haven't tackled yet:
Okay.
pricing.
Right.
It's the age-old challenge of finding that sweet spot where customers feel like they're getting value.
Yeah.
And companies we're still making a profit.
It's a delicate balance.
So pricing is both an art and a science.
It is.
And it's often more complex than people realize.
It is, yeah. The source material emphasizes that there are many factors to consider beyond just covering your costs.
Okay.
You have to understand customer perceptions of value. You have to analyze the competitive landscape and even anticipate future market trends.
Right.
It's a very dynamic process.
So it's not as simple as just slapping a markup on your production costs.
No, no, definitely not.
Okay, so what are some other pricing methods that companies use?
So value-based pricing is becoming increasingly popular.
Okay.
So this approach focuses on understanding how much customers are willing to pay for a product or service based on the value they perceive.
Yeah.
If people believe a product is high quality, unique, or solves a real problem for them, they might be willing to pay a premium.
It's like that old saying, price is what you pay, value is what you get.
Exactly. And
Right.
then there's competitive pricing where you look at what your competitors are charging
Okay.
and set your prices accordingly.
So you might choose to match their prices, undercut them to gain market share.
Okay.
Or even charge a premium if you believe your product offers superior value.
So pricing strategy can be a bit of a game of chess.
You can.
Constantly trying to anticipate your competitors' moves
Uh-huh.
and position yourself strategically in the market.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a lot like that. And we can't forget about the psychological aspects of pricing.
Okay.
The source material mentions price anchoring, where the first price a customer sees for a product can heavily influence their perception of value.
So if I see a product initially priced at $100 and then it goes on sale for $50,
Yeah.
I'm more likely to think it's a steal, even if $50 is still a high price.
That's exactly how price anchoring works. Host,
Yeah.
speaker.
Yeah.
Retailers use it all the time. It's about
Mhm.
framing the price in a way that makes it seem more attractive to consumers.
Interesting. So pricing really is a fascinating area. It is.
With a mix of economics, psychology,
Yeah.
and even a bit of behavioral science.
It really is. Yeah. It's a lot more than just numbers.
Okay, now let's talk about how companies actually get their products into the hands of consumers.
Okay.
Distribution.
Ah, yes. Distribution. So distribution is all about marketing channels.
Okay.
The pathways a product takes from the producer to the consumer. It's like a complex network of interconnected links, with each link representing a different stage in the journey.
We're talking about wholesalers, retailers,
Uh-huh.
distributors, even online marketplaces like Amazon.
Yes.
Oh.
All of those players can be part of the distribution chain.
Okay.
And companies have some key decisions to make when designing their
Okay.
channels. Well, do they want to sell directly to consumers or go through intermediaries?
So,
How
yeah.
many levels of intermediaries do they want to involve? And how much control do they want to have over the distribution process?
It seems like there are a lot of options.
Yeah.
And the best approach probably depends on the product, the market, and the company's overall strategy.
It does, yeah. The source material highlights some interesting examples.
So,
Companies like Apple and Nike, for
Okay.
instance, they have their own retail stores,
right.
giving them greater control over the customer experience and the brand messaging. On the other hand, a company like Amazon,
Right.
they've built this massive online marketplace connecting buyers and sellers from all over the world.
So each approach has its own set of pros and cons.
Exactly. It depends on what you're trying to achieve.
Okay. We've talked about pricing and distribution. Now let's move on to the part everyone always thinks of when they hear marketing, promotion.
Right.
How do companies communicate the value of their products to consumers
Mm.
and convince them to buy?
Well, that's where the marketing communications mix comes in.
Right.
It's essentially a toolbox full of different communication tools that companies can use
Right.
to reach their target audience and achieve their marketing objectives.
So we're talking about advertising, public relations, sales promotion,
Yeah,
personal selling, all those classic marketing tactics.
exactly. And each of these tools has its strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah.
Advertising, for example, it can be incredibly powerful for building brand awareness and reaching a large audience,
Right,
but it can also be expensive and less effective in today's, fragmented media landscape.
Yeah. It seems like advertising has shifted dramatically. in recent years.
It has.
Moving away from traditional media like television and print
Right.
and towards more targeted digital channels.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot more emphasis on search engine marketing, social media advertising, and mobile marketing.
So it's about precision targeting
Yeah.
rather than just blasting out a generic message to everyone.
It is, and the same goes for public relations. It's no longer just about getting good press coverage.
Oh, yeah.
It's about building relationships with key influencers, managing your online reputation,
Right.
and engaging in meaningful conversations with your stakeholders.
So public relations can be incredibly powerful for building credibility and trust,
Absolutely.
especially in today's world where consumers are bombarded with marketing messages from all sides.
It's more important than ever.
Okay. And then you have sales promotion,
Right.
which is all about short-term incentives to encourage purchase.
Yeah, think coupons, discounts, contests,
Free samples.
free samples, anything that creates that sense of urgency and motivates people to buy now.
Sales promotions can be very effective,
They can.
but the source material kind of cautions against overusing them.
It does, yeah. If you constantly offer discounts, it can devalue your brand and condition customers to only buy when there's a sale.
So it's about finding that right balance.
It is, yeah. You don't want to train your customers to only buy when things are on sale.
Right. Now what about personal selling?
Okay.
Is that still relevant in today's digital world?
I think personal selling has definitely evolved. It's less about, pushy sales tactics these days,
Right.
and more about building relationships, understanding customer needs, and providing solutions that create value. It's about becoming a trusted advisor rather than just a salesperson.
So it's about moving away from the transactional
Yeah,
and towards the relational.
I think so, yeah. It's about building those long-term relationships.
Okay. And finally we have direct marketing,
Mhm.
which involves reaching out directly to individual consumers.
Right.
Think direct mail, email marketing, telemarketing.
Yeah.
Anything that allows you to tailor your message to a specific audience.
Exactly. Yeah. It's about getting your message right to the people who are most likely to be interested.
It seems like direct marketing relies heavily on data and analytics to be effective.
It does. The key is to have a good database of customer information.
Right.
And you use that data to personalize your messages
Okay.
and target the right people at the right time.
So with all these different tools at their disposal,
Right.
how do companies decide which ones to use and how to combine them effectively?
That's the million-dollar question.
Right.
There's no one-size-fits-all approach.
Right.
The best marketing communications mix depends on a variety of factors,
Okay.
including the products, the target audience, the budget, and the overall marketing objectives.
Right.
The key is to create a cohesive strategy where all the pieces work together seamlessly.
So it's like conducting an orchestra
Uh-huh.
with each instrument playing its part to create a harmonious symphony.
Yeah, that's a great analogy.
Right.
Yeah. And the conductor in this case is the marketer
Right.
responsible for bringing all the elements together and ensuring they're working in concert.
Well, this has been a fascinating deep dive into the world of product marketing strategy.
It has been, yeah.
We've covered a lot of ground from understanding customer needs
Mhm.
to navigating the complexities of pricing, distribution, and promotion.
It's a constantly evolving field
Yeah.
with new technologies and trends emerging all the time.
Right.
But one thing remains constant.
Both sides.
The importance of understanding your customers, creating value for them, and building those lasting relationships.
And it's about being creative, innovative, and adaptable
Absolutely.
in a world that's changing faster than ever.
It is. You got to stay ahead of the curve.
So next time you see a product that catches your eye, take a moment to think about all the strategic thinking and hard work that went into bringing it to market.
Yeah, it's a hidden world of marketing magic.
It is.
And we hope this deep dive has given you a glimpse behind the curtain.
Well, thanks for joining us on the deep dive.
It's been fun.